You're listening to Stu's Wrestling Podcast, established 2019. Direct from the North Wales coast, his verbal skills definitely outweigh his wrestling ability. It's time for British wrestling's sharpshooter, your host, Stu Palmer.
Warm welcome to episode 34 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast, and my guest this week, what a treat we've got. It's the UK, we're going back to the UK, and it is the fourth generation superstar of the world famous Knight family, Ricky Knight Jr. Ricky Knight Jr. is one of the hottest prospects in the UK, in the world. He's wrestled a lot of places in his early career. He's been to America, all over Europe. You'll get to hear so much from him. His influences, how the family have influenced him, the styles he's taken from his family members. Just another great episode with a great guy. He's got his head screwed on for a young guy too. So here we go, episode 34 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast with Ricky Knight Jr. Enjoy. Right, a warm welcome to my guest for episode 31 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast. It's the fourth generation star of the world famous Knight family, Ricky Knight Jr. How's it going, Ricky?
Very well, mate. Good considering we're in this time. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Pleasure's all mine, man. Pleasure's all mine. How is everything with lockdown, Ricky? How are you finding it?
Hard. Obviously, we're going to be on the road, every weekend or all week, most cases, to, sitting in the house and not doing nothing, or, going for a run and walks and the weights I have got in the garden. It's very hard because it's a complete change of lifestyle, isn't it? But everyone's in the same boat, I guess.
I'm gonna begin into the wrestling stuff. When did you first become part of a wrestling show?
Well, when I was about 2 days old, my dad got me to ring, and sort of a tradition, when I have a baby down here, they sort of give me the ring and hold him up front of the fans. So I don't know, when I was 2 days old, that's the first time I was in a ring on a show.
Cool, man, cool. When was your first experience in a match capacity?
I was managing my dad at 4 years old, but my first match was when I was about 9. I wrestled someone else who was about 11 or 12. And then when I was 10 years old, I wrestled like an adult as my first initiation match.
That's early, man. You were young. You were so young going in there. That's cool. I don't think many could say they were that young having their first match. No,
definitely not.
Which wrestlers did you gravitate to as a kid? In terms of WWE, the big companies, maybe even obviously the companies over here in War. Were any guys you gravitated to?
I've sort of always been, my dad's sort of been the person that I look up to as a career. So I personally think my dad's one of the best workers in the world, but he's never got that main stage platform to perform at, because of stuff that has happened in his past. But my dad has been a quite big influence on what I base my wrestling off, and him and Shawn Michaels, and in the WWE, I think Shawn Michaels probably the best wrestler to grace a professional wrestling ring. So they're the sort of two that I looked up to growing up, and I still do now.
How was training and learning the craft of pro wrestling? How did you find it when you were younger?
Difficult at first as well, because I was sort of the first child to start training with the adults, which down here now they have kids class with all the children go together. But obviously I was the first child to wrestle the adults, no other children around. So it was quite hard because they didn't know whether to treat me like an adult or treat me like a kid, or they just didn't know what to do. But once after the first sort of year of breaking into and training, it sort of become natural, and they sort of treat me like an adult. And a lot of them wanted to wrestle me because I was lighter, so they throw me around. But yeah, especially first coming into it, it's very weird, going from wrestling people twice your size and 3 times your weight
What was it like developing your move set? I know that's probably fast forwarding a bit, getting your moves together and stuff like that. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm quite lucky with my family because I can take like a little bit from each of them, and that's not just like a move set. That's like, you know, their personas and the way they move around the ring. So I've been very fortunate to be born into the family I have. You know, and for me, it's sort of, I've got set moves that I do or set sequences I do for, like, you know, for fans to see, but I wouldn't necessarily have a move set because, you know, you can win a fight in any way, and the same with wrestling. You know, it doesn't matter what move you hit, as long as it's effective. You know what I mean? Cool. So I don't so much have a move set. You know, I got stuff that, you know, I got a little one, but I like to sort of go off the fly and like keep a big move set open rather than have like select moves that I do, like the 5 moves I do.
Who have you enjoyed tearing it up with in the ring? Who's been good to get in there with and really, you know, test yourself with?
Yeah. Again, you know, obviously growing up watching like my dad and that down here in Norwich, it was, you know, I always wanted to be in the main event like with my dad because that's where he always was, and he's always a world champion. And a fight there at Carrow Road when we had 5,000 people in, to wrestle him there was like, you know, a very real moment, and like we did like a load of crazy spots and that. So that was nice to wrestle him there. And Robbie X, I've wrestled Robbie X like numerous amount of places now, and numerous amount of times there's been positive feedback online. So me and him obviously did something right, and Robbie's a fantastic guy as well, let alone a fantastic worker. But so, you know, to sort of wrestle him as well and tear up places is great. So yeah, those are like main sort of 2 that I reflect back to you.
That's cool, man. What a time to be doing it as well. The amount of guys that are out there now for you.
Yeah, I mean the time right now is probably not so fortunate, but
yeah, but I mean, yeah. I should have worded that better, Rick. Can you tell the listeners and the viewers where pro wrestling is taking you? Different promotions. Have you been outside of the UK? Obviously, list your UK ones as well.
Obviously, quite. I think I've been way too many to name, but you know, I've been obviously WW, where I trained, which obviously ran by the Knight family, and then I went to Hope Wrestling, and then I went to Southside Wrestling. Obviously don't run anymore, but was ran by Ben Old. Then I went to PCW with my dad and uncle, and that's the first sort of place that had me regular when I was like young. I was only like 16, maybe 15, but they had me like regular all the time, as well as my uncle and dad. So PCW was Stephen Fludder. You know, I was very fortunate, like he took a chance on me. And then I then broke properly in with Ben Old at Southside. And then, yeah, I sort of just went from there. You know, I've been lucky enough that I'm now with Rev Pro and Andy Coulden, which is a fantastic wrestling promotion. And I've been very fortunate already, which I'm grateful for. I've been to ITW in Scotland, BWR in Cleethorpes, where I've had some great matches with Robbie there. And then, yeah, I've been, you know, I've wrestled for HEW, Target Wrestling, UWE, which is run by Ben Taylor. Yeah, Fallen Star, DOA. Yeah, I think there's a few other ones that I'll probably forget.
That was a good list off the top of your head, that, Rick.
Yeah, I mean, they're ones that sort of, I think they're the ones I've held a belt in, that's why. But,
have you been abroad?
Yeah, sort of thing. So I've been to, I went to, well, I can't remember. The first place I went to was France. I went there twice for ECTA wrestling, which I won when I first like felt overseas over there. I wrestled Mitchell Starr twice, and then I went to Germany. I've been to Germany twice, and then I went to New Orleans in 2018.
Yeah, man.
And I wrestled Luke Hawks, Perry, PJ Hawks, and Damien 666 and Bestia 666 from the Crash.
Cool.
So I wrestled for Wildcat over there. That was me and my dad. So it was like a father and son match, and we walked out on top. And then recently I just went to Orlando, and then yeah, and then I have got a few other ones lined up. But I was meant to be in South Africa in July.
Cool.
But obviously, that's not going to happen now. But that's another place that
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to. So there's many other countries, like Japan and going back to America, and there's loads more places I'd love to go and love to experience.
Just keep adding stuff to your tool belt, isn't it, with the world styles?
Well, yeah, not just that. We can only do this for a certain amount of time, and some people will do it. Some people can do it longer than others. But you get a bad injury, like my aunt, and you've got nothing to show for it. How devastating will you be? You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
if it's a big injury and you've got all these memories and all these places you've been, all these people, like amazing people you've met, all these amazing wrestlers that you've had great matches with, and and it's all sort of worth it in the end in a little bit of a sick way.
Cool. You touched upon Fightmare in the match with your dad. I had that down as a question. So yeah, how was it coming up against your dad? Obviously winning the title. How was that? How was it for you? Just extending on it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, to sort of sum it up. I played when I was younger. I played for Norwich, like at an academy level, and so did my dad. So for us to go there and got on the first wrestling show to ever be in, Carrow, which I think it's a fantastic idea, because the stadium holds 30,000 and you could probably get 5,000 on the pitch, maybe 10,000 on the pitch. So to sort of be there and the build up to it was like more than anything, like it was crazy. That's a memory that will like live for me forever. That's like the first stadium show, for example. And I remember just like pulling up in the car after like 7 months of knowing what's going on. And I walk in and like we had all these VIP passes, and I had my brother-in-law with me. So I give him my AAA pass so he could get in. Obviously I walked straight in because they knew like obviously who I was and obviously the family. And sort of walking in and seeing the ring be set up with like 4 different trucks on there, like for the rings and for the chairs and for the weapons and the merch stand. And sort of being there, it was such a beautiful day. It was so sunny. And yeah, it was, like, I don't know, just looking in, it was crazy. And then when we then went upstairs and got changed. And then like you could sort of like go up another level and watch out, and just watching the crowd come in. I went to the stairs and like watched them walking in, and then there's a disabled lad called Brandon who was like a big fan, but he was like trying to shout to get my attention. So I went downstairs and I walked through the fans, like got a picture of him, just because obviously he wasn't about to do it at the meet and greet because he can't really like get around.
Yeah.
Going back up and just watching. So now it's just crazy watching 5,000 people come in. And and then when we then rested my dad, I don't know, it just went in a second. It took forever to come around. It just went in a second. But it's an experience that I'll never forget.
Turnbuckle TV is the home of UK Wrestling On Demand, featuring over 40 UK wrestling promotions and other wrestling-related channels. Subscribe today from just $1.99 and start your free 1-month trial now.
GTG, often imitated but never duplicated. Kind of broad at the shoulder, narrow at the hip. No other promotion give us any lip. We the best of the best, the beasts of the East. SOS, simply out of sight. GTG.
What he said, good times guaranteed.
Can you tell us where else you have held titles? That was the question.
Yeah, so I can probably do a few of them in order. So my first ever belt was a tag team title against for HEW tag team title. They're like this yellow belt, like bright yellow, and they had like paint over them because they're like so old. And I won that with my cousin PJ Knight. And it's funny actually because we weren't meant to go over, we weren't meant to win, and one of the guys didn't turn up. So it was sort of like a 2-on-1. And so that was my first belt. My second belt come a bit after that. That was a WWE Under 23 title in a ladder match. And then from there, that's probably all in order, remember. And I've held a few down in WWE. So I've had the WWE Cruiserweight, Open Light Heavyweight, which I won off Jody Fleisch. I've been like WWE World Tag Team Champion like 3 or 4 times. WWE British champ, WWE TV champ, WWE World champ, and then I've had UWE heavyweight title, which I've still got, UWE international title, which I've still got. I've been BWR cruiserweight champion, which I'm probably a bit too heavy for now. I've been Southside tag champ, Southside speaking champion, which I still have, and Southside European champion. I've had the ECTA Junior Championship, and the ECTA Tag Team Championship, the Target Target Championship. Yeah, there's probably a couple more I forgot, but yeah, they're the ones that sort of spring to mind.
Who you came up against defending various titles you've won? Who were some of the standout guys, maybe for you, who've been in there with defending the belts?
Yeah, reverse back to Robbie X. Recently, Valentine's Day this year, actually. That's me and Robbie X in York Hall for the speaking title. And fun fact for anyone, like none of the Knight families have ever won at York Hall. And I went there and I was the first Knight family member to win at York Hall and defend the belt. So that was obviously quite a nice one to defend against. Yeah, that's probably that's probably the biggest one, to be fair, because just like the singing of it, you know what I mean? That's my first singles at York Hall for Rev Pro. That was sold out. And yeah, none of my family have ever won there before. And to sort of break the curse of York Hall and wrestle Robbie X and come out the winner, I think that's sort of the biggest one, just because what the odds were stacked against me, you know what I mean?
Which domestic talents, which UK talents do you reckon are going to take wrestling by storm? Got guys like UK-based guys that are standing out for you who are going to make a name for themselves?
I mean, there's a few obvious ones, but you know, I don't want to pick them out. I think there's a lot of hidden talent I've seen that I don't think have been anywhere else bar like down this way. Alexander Young, I've said this on a few other podcasts as well. I think he's one of the best workers in the world, but no one's ever seen it. You know, no one's ever seen how good he is because he's only been down here. He did have one match in Southside, but that was towards the end when they were obviously swapping over. So I'd love to see Alexander Young in a lot more places. He's like the main one that whenever anyone asks me like who deserves to be out there, or who's like the most underrated wrestler, you know, he's fantastic, but no one knows about him. He's like a hidden gem. And then yeah, like obviously you got a few obvious ones as well, but not too many, to be honest with you, spring to mind, because a lot of the up and coming wrestlers are the wrestlers that are already present. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Guys around the world now, can be, you know, guys on TV and stuff now on the world scene who are sticking out for you and like you like to watch.
Not, to be honest with you, not really.
No.
I like watching any wrestling. I think everyone that is a wrestler is always a fan first. You know, we all love wrestling. That's why we do it. But there's not one person that necessarily sticks out, because it's so good because everyone do something different. You know, and you look at like the three big companies, for example, like your New Japan, WWE, AEW. You all bring something different to the card, and I like watching it and staying in the loop. And there's not one person that I gravitate to or look up to, because I want to be the first Ricky Knight Jr., not the second someone else. So
yeah.
There's a lot of people that I respect and think, you know, they're fantastic workers, and you know, and there's people obviously I want to be in that level of performance, because obviously I want to be the number one athlete in the world.
That's cool. Cool. Good answer. Good answer. You weren't playing favourites there either. I like how you didn't say anybody.
Oh,
that's cool. Where would you like to wrestle where you haven't had the chance to yet?
I think the three companies I've just named.
Wait.
So they're the three ones. Well, out of one of them three, you want to end up in one, don't you? So I think that's a goal for any wrestler. Any wrestler, no matter how old they are, how long they've been doing it, how good they are. I think the dream is to end up with a contract signed somewhere, because then you can say, you know, there's a difference between like I'm a professional wrestler to being a professional wrestler. You know, and yeah, for me, like I just said, I'm a wrestling fan, so I'd have to perform in all three, every single one of them. But if you take them away, I think there's a few others, you know, like your Fight Club Pro over here, I think are fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, Progress are fantastic. There's loads of other companies that I haven't worked for. You know, I think I've worked for a few companies, but then when I look at how many other companies there are as well, I haven't been lucky enough to work for them. So, you know, like, I'd love to go work for every company. You know what I mean? You've got Breed Pro Wrestling, you've got Tidal Wrestling. They're all fantastic companies as well. And then obviously there's your obvious ones, you know, like your Ring of Honor. And then, you know, you got like loads of other companies that I'd love to work for. And any company that I haven't, I'd love to. If I could work for every company in the world, I would.
Ricky, what would be a dream singles match for you?
Oh, well, unrealistic would be myself and Shawn Michaels, but
hey, he wrestled a couple of years ago. He came out retirement. Anything could happen.
I think, yeah, in another 5 years, I'll have to give him a little phone call. But I don't know, maybe like my dad, wrestled my dad on a even bigger scale. Yet again, you know, in front of like these big crowds, in front of, you know, like 70,000 people or 100,000 people. I think that would be like a dream match to be able to being like the first father and son shown on like a big scale. Because it's something, yeah, again, that's different. And in wrestling, it's very rare you get something different because wrestling's been around so long that most things have been done. And most of those things have been forgotten about, to be fair.
That's cool. I'm going to extend off that. I'm going to go into who would you like to go up against in a tag capacity?
Tag team. I think for when I was growing up, it would have to be like DX probably, like Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Just for when I was growing up, they're the ones that I'd skip to watch on Sky or whatever. Yeah, I think they're the big ones that I would want to work. But then there's, you know, then there could be loads more others that would want to be. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be like DX, but there's Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
What advice have you got for young guys coming into the business now? Obviously, I know we're on an off period at the moment, but what would be your advice to young guys that are going in to start training?
I actually have a few people message me on like Instagram, like on your messages requests, and like the same reply is just get into your local training school, go in there, start training, but don't stay at one, you know, training school. Like go around, because every teacher can teach you something different. You know, that's like with anything, not just wrestling. But so that my method might be different to how someone else's method would be, and like you can find which one fits you best. Like go somewhere, you know, listen to your trainer, and then, you know, what they say that they are right, because they're your trainer, and just go around, work as hard as you can, try get a good body, make sure your ring fit, so make sure your cardiovascular fitness is fine, because you want to be, if you're going into a match and you're 25 minutes in of, you know, action after action, and you're tired, you've got a good chance of dropping someone and hurting someone. So yeah, like, you know, stay, make sure you're fit, make sure you got a good body. Listen to your trainer, and just travel around. If someone's going to a show and there's a spare seat in the car, ask if you can jump in, come down, meet the promoter, meet the performers, feel what it's like to be there, feel the energy, because I know being there, like, and feel the energy, like you get a different buzz rather than hearing about it. If you're seeing it firsthand, you really feel like what, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but when you're there and you're watching someone else in the ring, you're thinking, God, I wish I was in that ring, like I should be in that ring. You know what you need to do, like gives like lights of fire, and you're gonna go home, you're gonna work harder. So yeah, just keep working as hard as you can, listen to your trainers, and you've got a good chance of going far.
Do you think some guys are rushed into their first match? Because I've had different time frames for different people when they've had their first match. I know everyone's different how they learn and pick things up, but do you think some guys are getting thrown in there too soon, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone would be wrong to say no. I think there's definitely been someone that's been thrown into a match too soon or thrown into something too soon. But that's not for me to decide. That's for the boss to decide.
Yeah.
And you know, if the boss thinks they're ready, then they're ready, and that's how it is really. But it's those situations of being thrown into something that you're unsure of, or you're not sure if you can live up. That is what makes you a better performer.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
And to be fair, I can't really say much. I was 10 when I got thrown in, so I can't say too much.
It's the family. It's the family, man. That's what it's all about. They want you in as early as possible and learning. So no, hey, you're fine. You're fine, man. You're fine. Have you managed to watch much wrestling with lockdown?
Yeah, I don't, and I watch it all the time. Whether that's, you know, I just go on YouTube and watch like the highlights of whatever the show was, you know, like your AEW or New Japan or WWE, because for me, like I just said, I'd love to wrestle in any one of them. And if I was to go to one of them, I want to be in the loop, so I know what's going on. You know what I mean? So I know what other people are doing, and not just that. It's good to see what the British guys are doing, to see how well they're doing, because a lot of them are my friends. See that they are doing so well for themselves.
Have you seen Money in the Bank? Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, like I said, I watched the highlights.
Yeah.
Like, I'm quite impatient. I don't like watching. If a film's boring, I'll turn a film off after 20 minutes, and I'll just go on to another one. So like I can't sit there for 3 hours, like, you know, watching wrestling. But like half an hour, I can watch the highlights.
Yeah.
I did watch the like the Money in the Bank match. So
yeah. It's crazy. I wasn't expecting the way they shot it and stuff. They're just adapting, aren't they, to what's going down?
Fair play, because how many other people would have that idea?
Yeah.
So it just goes to show whoever's writing the storylines or whoever's idea that was, that just shows how much different, like, they are. Like, they're on another level, as well as all the others. But, you know, they went in there and they made it interesting, because they did, obviously, not just that. You've got to look at the guys as well. You look at the Money in the Bank match. It's a very brutal match. And to be doing that in front of no one, it's going to hurt a lot. And, you know, when you handle that adrenaline, you pick up these little injuries. And being able to go around the Performance Center and, you know, during this time, that's something, you know, they brought the first two-night WrestleMania, which will be remembered forever. They brought the first WrestleMania in front of no one. And now they brought the Money in the Bank match in the headquarters. So at least, you know, they're definitely bringing stuff different to the table, and they're trying out things, which is great.
People are getting on my nerves, moaning and groaning. They'll still watch it though. Do you know what I mean? If you're not happy with it, just don't watch it. A lot of negativity.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, mate.
It's just don't watch it. It's simple. They get on my nerves.
Yeah, I mean that's the same with anything though. You know, that's just not. You know, I got a few wrestlers. We're obviously in a few group chats, and some of the wrestlers will moan about, you know, like other wrestlers, but at the end of the day, it's pointless moaning. People moan about everything. People moan about EastEnders, Coronation Street. You know what I mean? So that is just how we are. That's what we do.
Yes, that's cool, man. That's cool. Right, Ricky, plug your social media for me, please.
Yes, at Ricky_Knight Jr. So at Ricky Knight Jr.
Okay, lovely. Right, 4th generation member of the world famous wrestling Knight family, Ricky Knight Jr. Thanks for coming on today, fella.
So thank you for having me anytime.
A big thank you to Stephen Ash and Ed Dowling for producing the track. It's Stu's Wrestling Podcast, the theme. So thank you very much for that, lads. Much appreciated. Love it. It fits really well, so cheers. Thanks to you. Big thank you to Mike Angus for the show intro, as always. Superb. Chris Dutton, thank you very much for editing once again. Appreciate it, buddy. And also to Lee, who does my website. Lee puts the stuff up on the website. Without you guys, I'd be screwed. So once again, as always, appreciate everything you do for me and the time you spend doing the things you do for me. It means a lot, guys.